I wasn't crazy. I was actually feeding my talkback mic. This mic that's right here that's talking to you was actually going through the system as well. So I was actually hearing the mic. You were hearing the mic. You were also hearing it coming through Pro Tools on my talkback. So we got that fixed. Let's get on to the session. You can kind of see what's going on here. So the idea here is, get out of that so I don't hear myself talking all night long. So I've got a few vocal takes. Other mouse, Brian. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at these vocals, and we're going to do a little vocal editing, and we're going to see if we can clean some things up and tighten some things up, get rid of a little bit of noise, and then I'm going to go and actually do a quick edit on the drums as well, just to clean some stuff up. So, all right, let's take a listen to this, and we'll see. Mainly what I'm listening to now, we have no tuning on this at all. I'm just listening for any particular word that might be out of tune, and if that's the case, I really only have, depending on if I'm going to use this double, I may only have one other take I can pull from, unless I need to fly it over from a different section. Like if it's in a chorus, the great thing about having multiple choruses is if there's one line in a chorus that's a little out in one of the takes, I just fly it over from another one. So, hey, what's going on, Paul? Good to see you, buddy. Just doing a little bit of work. That's all. Just a little bit of work. Bleed on me. So all you're hearing right now, you're not hearing the double. You're just hearing the, oh, you know what? The other thing I need to put on here. One of the other reasons why I'm doing this is I'm actually trying out, you'll notice I've got a pair of headphones on. I'm actually trying out this Abbey Road Studio 3 plugin. And but I'm not using the head tracker. And so what this does is this gives you an approximation of what it might sound like sitting in Abbey Road Studios. What I'm really more into is I'm going to use the headphone EQ that helps to compensate for these biodynamic headphones. And I'm just kind of using it to get used to the sound of it. I still don't think you can mix in headphones. A lot of people say you can. But I'm just getting used to it. If you haven't seen this plugin before, I showed it in the last live stream. Basically, we've got 3 sets of monitors we can listen to. We've got a near field monitor. Bleed on me till your pain is numb. There's a midfield monitor. And steal from me. You hear a little more ambience and a little more of the mid-range. Feed on me. You know, hear more ambience in the far fields. When we go to the full band, you're going to hear more low end. So that's the near fields. And the vultures have all flown. In my ears, in these headphones, all of a sudden the mid-range gets pushed forward when I go to the midfield monitors. There's a whole lot more openness and a deeper low end in the far fields. So for right now, we're just listening in the near fields. All right, so that just kind of lets you know why I'm using these headphones as we're doing this. In a little bit, once we get done with these vocals, we'll go and take a look at these drums. So yeah, I'm just listening for words that are enough out of tune that I feel like I may have a different take somewhere else that's better. Bleed on me till your pain is numb and steal from me all I hate to come. I'm just curious about that, if take number 2 is better. And steal from me all I hate to come. Except for the very last one, I actually think that might be a little bit better. He scoops into the pitch. I think that might be better, actually. Not that one. 3, I'm sorry. And steal from me all I hate to come. Yeah, except for the release on that. There we go. Oh. Steal from me. I'm curious what take 1 sounds like, though, because we're not going to use a double here. Steal from me
ought to hate to come.
Actually, I like the whole thing better. I like all of that better. So I know I'm not using the double. This double right here that's in green actually came from the very first take we did. So I'm not going to use that. It'd be too obvious, just the acoustic guitar, if I did that.
Bleed on me till the pain is numb.
All right, so he pops a P right there. And so, do I have 3 takes or 2? Oh, it's only 2 takes. Okay. The way I can know is this 0.2. So I either have a 0.1 or 0.2. Let me see if he popped the P in the other one too.
Till the pain is numb.
Popped a P there.
Till your pain is numb.
It's not so bad. Okay.
And steal from me. Ought to hate to come and feed on me till your hunger's gone. Lie to me and lie to me.
So that's where I'm going to start using the double. Okay, so we're all good there. Since I've only got, well, this is going to have to be the take. I kind of wish I would have showed you the other one. I just finished one where I had 4 takes to work with. This one we've just got 1 and 2. In that case, let's just work on cleaning these up. Yep. So this is a little bit of what we did last night. If you were tuning in last night. So clipping the heads and tails of things so if there's any extraneous noise, especially when there's nothing but acoustic guitar and a vocal like that. A lot of times I don't like to hear breaths. Even in something like this, it's just cleaner without it. You know, there's no reason for it. You don't have to hear somebody breathing to know that it's a real performance. You know, sometimes it's great. If you got any questions, you got any comments, want to tell me how your day went? I'll listen. You don't want to hear how my day went, but yeah, I'll listen. All right, so oh yeah, let's see. Let's group these. So we're going to do a quick group. We'll call this a vocal edit. And since we're going to be cleaning up stuff in the double and in the main vocal at the same time, we'll just do both of them at the same time. So yeah, so a lot of this stuff right here, well, maybe I should flip over and show you something that has more takes, but I'm not. I'm going to go in order. Anyway, yeah. Part of live streaming late at night like this is just kind of a show your work thing. Like, what is it that I sit here and do? During times when I don't have clients, there are a lot of times on any given day, usually every day, when I'm working on something and the client is not here. Nor should they be, because this is not the most interesting thing in the world to sit and do. Some of this vocal editing I did during our session just to give him a break from having to sing so much. So some of these edits that you see that are already sitting there, I actually did those in the middle of the session. So just try to give him a break. We're going to go ahead and kind of get the heads and the tails of all these little sections going. And then we'll see, like we did the other night, see what needs to move around. My hope is that there won't be a whole lot on this. This would be great if this is the most boring video I think I've ever made, where everything was just perfect and we didn't have to fix anything. And you'd be like, gosh, he's got the easiest job in the world. Nothing could be further from the truth, but, you know. So, yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second when I'm not in my group. So, yeah, just a lot of this headphone bleed I want to get out of there. There's only 3 stanzas on here, so this one's going to be kind of short. All right. Some people love all the stuff that's in between. I've got a ton of multi-tracks from analog tape, from the analog tape days where you can hear a lot of that stuff that happens in between all that headphone bleed and stuff. And it's fun to listen to. But especially when you're trying to get a nice clean mix, it's the pits, man. It's the pits. Because especially when you're really trying, if it's a dense mix where there's a lot of stuff going, and if I've got 14 to 20 tracks of, say, background vocals, it's the worst to have to sit there and start compressing and hearing that and hearing how much room it takes up. All right, so I've got these things cleaned pretty well. Since we didn't have more than just these takes, we'll just have to go with what we got. If there's something that's bad in one chorus, we may fly it to another chorus. But I'm also going to check the double while we're at it. We're going to slide this double around a good bit. It's still doing that thing. Sorry about the flickering on the screen, y'all, if you're seeing that flickering.
And lie to me till the truth is known.
So those first few words, you can kind of see right there how. Now I got take it out of my groups. Sorry. I got a choice here. I can either try and slide this in, and we're definitely sliding this over. In fact, let's just slide the whole thing. I can try and slide the whole thing over and see if I can get it in.
To the truth is.
And it still doesn't do great. So I don't need the double in those first few words.
To the truth is known.
There we go. I want to see if I slide this. You notice the end of that's a little out. If I slide it, if the pitch gets better.
There's no.
The pitch bend is better. Even though he starts the double a little late, the pitch bend bends together a little more. My only question is, am I going to hear that?
There's.
Nope. Yeah, so even though the front part of the word's a little off, the rest of the line is more in time, and so the pitch bends and stuff, the natural pitch bends he does, are just going to be more in, so I'll just keep it that way.
And the vultures have all flown home.
Same thing here. Can I take that first word and yes, that's a little early. If I slide it over a little bit,
Have all flown.
so all of a sudden that pitch bend is a little bit better. It's a little more in.
And the jesters have told their tales.
All right, so that one, pitch definitely. I mean, tuning is going to fix pitch, but the thing is, sometimes getting this thing more in time fixes those problems better than tuning does.
Have told their tales.
Yeah, because the problem is not necessarily that it's out of pitch, it's just that the bends aren't happening at the right time. So I'm going to move this just a little bit.
Their tales. Their tales. And everything we've done.
Gets a little bit out towards the end. So we did this trick the other day. We're going to take this fade taper and go a little bit longer so that, and there's only one S.
And everything we've done.
Oh man, how's it
Tried
going?
and failed.
Yeah, just showing people how we prep stuff, how we get it ready to mix and sound great, you know. And yeah, it's sorry for the screen flickering. It normally doesn't do that. Yeah, it's just a little cleanup stuff that we're doing.
And the jesters have told their tales. And everything we've done.
Oh, cool.
Tried
Hey, man.
and
Good to see you, Dan.
failed.
We're going to do something with the drums here in a second. So let's go over here.
Bleed on me.
All right, so like I'm hearing a little comb filter in that, and that's just a timing thing. So if I slide it over just a few milliseconds, just grab it and slide it.
Bleed on me
Yep.
till your pain is numb.
Same thing with that. If I just slide the double over a little bit, and you can see how it's just a little in front, like this is just a little in front. If I just snip it and slide it a little bit,
till your pain is numb.
all of a sudden it matches a lot better. Yeah. And I could probably slide this, but I'm not going to. I'll leave it.
Till your pain is numb.
There we go.
And steal from me all the hate to come and feed on me till your hunger's
Yeah,
gone.
the magic. This is the magic.
Lie to me,
This is all the prestidigitation.
lie to me till the truth is known.
All right, yeah. So that's one where, again, I think if I slide it a few milliseconds, then and get it slid in just a little bit better, I think the pitches will match. You see how this is just a shade in front. So if I just slide it over just a little,
Lie to me.
especially on the tail end of it, I may have to snip it. You know, it's really about getting.
Lie to me.
I'm just kind of finding a happy medium.
Lie to me till the truth is known.
So yeah, same thing here. This front part right here, I'm going to try and line it up and see if it's better.
Till the truth is
Yeah. So just lining the front part of that word up just a little bit makes that all a lot tighter.
till the truth is known. And the vultures have all flown home. And the jesters have
Yeah.
told.
So yeah, and it's just you hear where it kind of flams a little bit, just the vocal flams. So if I just grab that little piece, yeah, I've already separated it. Just grab that little piece and slide it in.
And the jesters.
And the only thing that didn't benefit from it was the end of the line. So if I can just snip it right there and slide it over. And in this case, we'll do a little crossfade. And you won't even be able to tell I moved it. And I'm going to get rid of the middle of this too. So it's just cleaner.
And the jesters have told their tales. And
All right. And we talked about this the other night. So I have a choice here on this end. They start together. They mostly stay together till the very end. But the thing I'm really worried more about is the two S's. So if I put a long fade taper on this and only have the S and the main vocal and not the double, then I don't have a double S.
and the jesters have told their
I got you, Dan, man. Why we're not gonna do a ton with the drums tonight. You're gonna see a cool thing that we do just to clean up the whole thing.
and the jesters have told their tales. And everything we've done is tried and failed.
Same thing, you know. I think we can just make this all a little bit more in time. So if I just grab it and slide it back a few milliseconds.
And everything we've done is tried and failed.
So in the case, so that one needed to go forward. The other one may need to go backward a little bit. So the front part is pretty good, stays in, and then somewhere around here, I need to get this in the middle of this word. I need to get these two on the same page. So I might be able to crossfade this. We'll have to check it. Let's see, let me solo it and check, make sure I can do this.
And failed.
Yeah. We're in the middle of an F. So the F sound is pretty easy to crossfade, not hear it. So
It's tried and failed.
same thing here. Just put a little fade taper on that so that the double gets out of there before the. All right. And then we got the last stanza.
Lie to me till the truth is known. And the vultures, man, they've all flown home.
So right there, I could probably tighten that up a little bit. Slide it over.
And the vultures, man, they've all flown home.
See if we can tighten that second little piece up. It's the back part of it that needs to get tightened up right there. So we'll crossfade that too. Bump, bump, right there.
They've all flown home, and the jesters have told their tales, and everything we've done is tried and failed.
So you hear it's okay if the lead hangs over. It's the double we don't want to hang over, but I am going to fade taper that just a little bit. All right, so yeah, so we should have at this point, if I take a look at the end of this other one, we should have this one pretty well. Oh yeah. This is Pro Tools, Tony. Yeah, I was telling somebody in the stream earlier. Used to, when you're working in studios, that they have diversions. There's an S right there. We're going to kind of chop down on. You'd send the band into the lounge, or go to play ping pong or pool or basketball outside, or video games or whatever, or go eat in the lounge or whatever. But now in studios like this one, where it's a home-based studio, it's a commercial studio, but it's in a house. Like, I don't have a basketball court outside for you to go play on. Nor would my neighbors probably want to see a bunch of sweaty dudes they didn't know playing basketball in their neighborhood. So this kind of stuff, I usually save this, and I do this without the client here. There's no reason for me to do this when they're sitting on the couch just being bored to tears. So, all right, so I've got a little bit of auto-tune. I'm going to do the more proper tuning once I get all of my vocals edited. But what this auto-tune does is it gives me an idea of what the tuning's going to do for both of these. And just kind of how well is the vocal going to respond to some tuning? Or do I have some issues I need to look at? So let's just kind of listen. I'll put the double in about where I think it needs to sit in the mix so that it just supports the lead vocal. And yeah. There's the super fanniest of super fans right there. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us the other day. Yeah, we're just listening.
Bleed on me till your pain is numb.
So yeah, we won't use the double here,
And steal from me,
especially just having that single acoustic guitar. Just makes it more intimate this way.
and feed on me till your hunger's gone. Lie to me,
So then we lace the double in starting here.
and lie to me till the truth is known, and the vultures have all flown home,
And if I do this right,
and the jesters have told their tale,
I'll show you in a second.
and everything we've done is tried and failed.
There's just a support the double gives. A support the double gives to the lead vocal that just makes it seem more present and more upfront. It's just really subtle. Plus, there's a chorusing that happens that just makes the vocal thicker.
Bleed on me till your pain is numb,
So I'll take it out.
and steal from me all the hate to come.
I'll put it back in.
And feed on me till your hunger's gone, and lie to me, and lie to me till the truth is known, and the vultures have all flown home, and the jesters have told their tales.
I'm compressing this a fair amount.
It's tried and failed.
I'm already compressing that double a little bit just in the monitoring. So it's going to be closer to what the double's going to do when I do mix it. So last bit.
Lie to me till the truth is known, vultures, man, they've all flown home, and the jesters have told their tales, and everything we've done is tried and failed.
So the tuning's going to do good. There's one thing I noticed. I should have done this before I ran. This one bass note is just really loud compared to everything else. And I'm just going to kind of bring that in so that when we actually go to mix, it's not going to hit the compressor really loud. And I mean, I'm either going to have to pull it down in the mix, or I can just pull it down right there and get it to where it hits the compression that we're going to use on it. The same as all the other notes. Yeah, I just noticed that while I was going. All right, so one other thing to do. I mean, that's pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Let's get rid of some stuff I don't need. All right, so another little trick that that we do. Let's see. Is we're going to clean up some drum mics. So especially when we got that acoustic guitar hanging out all by itself. We don't really want a whole bunch of bleed from other mics and other sources. So one of the other last things that I do is go through the drum track, and we just take a look at. So nothing happens really in the drums till there. So I've got my edit group on. We're just going to put my cursor there, and we're going to mute everything from here. Now, used to when you're mixing, you may do this with like an automated mute on like an SSL console or something. For us, we're actually just going to tell the computer, don't even play that audio. So now when we've got the beginning of this, any bleed that's happening in all these drum mics, and we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mics on this setup. We won't have those mics open.
Bleed on me till your pain is numb and steal from me.
So yeah, it's just a little cleanup thing we do. Now, the other cleanup thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull this off. Some people like to do what I'm about to do in a gate or an expander. I'm not a fan of gates because they're not very exact. Neither are expanders when it comes to drums. So we're going to solo the two drum channels, and we're going to listen to just the rack tom and the floor tom channels.
And
I'm going to open that up just a little bit earlier. Just a shade early, just so we have a little bit of air.
And lie to me.
All right. So one thing I'm going to do is we're going to mute anything that isn't actually a drum being hit. And we'll put a little fade taper out so you don't hear it. Right now, I'll show you. Particularly this rack tom, the position of from the session I remember, from the position of the rack tom to where the crash cymbal was, the mic was pretty close. And so, like if we listen to this rack tom mic by itself, you'll hear a lot of crash cymbal in it.
Lie to me.
And so every time, and if you look up on the screen, you can kind of see it too. Here, I'll blow this up so you can see it. So compared to just the ambient bleed of the drums, there's a lot of crash cymbal there. A little bit of hi-hat too. But what we're going to do is we're just basically going to go through and everywhere, I'm going to double check and make sure that I'm not getting rid of any tom hits or anything, but we're going to go through and we're just isolate the tom hits.
Bleed on me, all the hate to come.
All right, so you can see from those spikes right there, that's where we got some drum hits happening.
Lie to me.
So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of grab this right here before we get to before we get to the crash cymbal, but I'll go a little further. I'm going to grab this and then
lie to me.
And the idea here is I want to get these out before we're going to mute that happened before, mute that. I want to, there's a faster way to do it than what I'm doing, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So the crash cymbal happens right there. I'm actually going to come in here and just do a quick little fade taper. Normally I'd like a longer fade taper, but at this tempo, I don't think it matters too much. So now what we're going to get is we're going to get a cleaner playback out of the drums because you won't have this bleed coming from these two mics.
Truth is known.
I'll show you in a second. Once I make another edit here, let's see. So now I don't delete these. I just mute the, that's what the grayed out means. It means it's muted. Because if I accidentally miss one of these and I hear it while I'm mixing, like, oh, dude, you muted something and there should be a drum there, I can very easily go back and get it. So this looks like another one of those same spots with that same kind of fill. We're going to go get that note. We're going to go get this note. We're going to mute that's what's before here and here. And it's actually quicker if I do this, if I just mute it. Usually one of the faster moves I do is I mute everything. And then I unmute what I want to hear. It's actually faster to do it that way. It seems backwards. The other thing that's nice about doing what I'm doing here as far as isolating these drum hits is if I decide later that I need to sample some tom sounds for a richer, thicker sound, I've got super clean hits to trigger the samples off of, which I don't think I'm going to do in this case, but in a lot of cases where I've got to use samples. See, there's floor tom right there. So we're just going to grab that one little floor tom hit right there. Little fade taper in, little fade taper out. Mute that in between. And then I'm just going to keep looking. And usually, instead of listening, I'm looking for hits. Like I can see that's a tom hit for sure. Yeah. Where's the crash cymbal? Oh, no, there's a crash cymbal. So all the more reason. See, that looks like it's the level of what a tom hit would be. When I saw it just in the waveform, I thought that was a tom hit. That's a crash cymbal. So that's going to jump. It's going to be harder to put the cymbals where I want them in the mix if I've got that bleed in that tom mic on that crash cymbal. Because I'll get the overheads and the room mic sitting where the cymbals need to sit, and all of a sudden, every time there's a crash cymbal hit, it's going to jump out more than it should. And it's not that it's jumping out in the overheads or in the room mics. It's actually in that microphone sitting right next to the crash cymbal. So all of this we can mute. All right, so in this case, mixing the drums is going to be a lot easier because there's not a lot of tom stuff happening here. So this is a great case for gating this stuff. I'll let you hear what the drum mix sounds like. It's subtle right now before we mix it, but once we start applying compression and things, this bleed here makes it's gonna make all the difference in the world tightening this drum sound up. Let me solo these drums a second.
Thing we've done is tried and failed.
When we get to the crash cymbal right here. Now if I just mute that. Now watch what happens. There's a lot less of this low kind of rumbling of the toms. There's a lot less of the cymbal bleed. There's just a lot less of stuff we don't want. And then when I go to actually, this is probably not the best example in terms of tunes because there's not a lot happening. But once we get here, like right now, I've got the toms low in the mix because of that cymbal bleed. But I can actually kind of pump the toms up now. Actually pull them up even more, actually get that close mics in there more. Yeah. It's just going to give me a lot more control when it comes time to mix. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Yeah, so that just kind of cleans all of that stuff up. We just get any of that ambient bleed out of there. Hi-hat is another mic that for now I've got the hi-hat mic in this mix, but as I'm actually putting the mix together, if I get all the hi-hat I need out of the overheads, then a lot of times I'll mute the hi-hat mic. Because one, it's off axis from the rest of the picture. It's sitting over here and it's got other things in it like snare drum that just pull that snare drum off to the side a little bit. at least for your ear. So we'll listen to a little bit of this with everything. I'll have to show you some of the other stuff I did as far as bass, maybe on another tune or something. But I'll just listen, start when the band comes in. And that's one of those two where I'll do a little trick where I'll probably just raise that floor tom in the actual file. It's just a lot cleaner sound.
And the vultures have all flown home, and the jesters have told their tales, and everything we've done is tried and failed.
All right.
Bleed on me till your pain is numb, and steal from me all the hate to come, and feed on me till your hunger's gone, and lie to me, and lie to me.
I'll give you an idea more what the vocal will probably sound like. Hang on, let me import something real quick. I did a little treatment on one of these other tunes. Yeah, let's see. I was just, once I got done with some stuff, I thought, it'd be really cool if I just take a second and get an approximation of what I'm going to do as far as vocal treatment. Yeah, there we go. So we'll listen to just a piece of this. So what's going to probably happen when I go to mix this is we're going to do a little bit of tape compression. So I'll just adjust this a little bit. All right, so yeah, so we're using a tape plug-in to get a little bit of tape compression happening. I'll probably drive that just a little bit more. I don't want to go too far into the red on that; it'll distort. And then doing a little bit of channel compression. Let's pull this up.
And the vultures have all flown home.
I got a little EQ and stuff. This is close to what the treatment will be like.
Have told their tales.
Now I'm compressing the other one a lot harder.
Tried and failed.
Like I will let the needle bury on the tape on that channel, on the double. Oh, there's one other thing. One other thing I didn't do in my mix the other night when I was just playing around with some things. There's a mid-range.
The truth is known.
I'm gonna make it real obvious here.
And the vultures have all flown home, and the jesters have told their tales, and everything we've done
Yeah.
is tried and failed.
So I'm gonna pull a lot of that mid-range out of the double, the high mid-range, so that it just blends a lot better. That's all. That's what it's gonna sound like. Pull that double back a little bit more.
And the vultures have all flown home, and the jesters have told their tales.
So you can just hear with the amount of compression that's happening with the tape compression and the channel compression through that SSL channel strip, it just it just makes that whole performance really stay in there in your ear a lot more, and you really hear all the nuance of it. So yeah, tuning on it sounds, just the auto tuning I'm doing on it right now, not even the final tuning, sounds good. I think we're going to be good on that. So clean up the drums like that a little bit, just getting rid of some of the ambient bleed from those tom mics. Yeah, that one, I can put that in the bed. So without talking, I mean, me talking, that took 40 minutes to do, but normally when I'm doing something like that, like a tune like that would have taken probably 20 minutes if I'm not talking, if I'm just doing it. Let's open another one up while I got you on here. Let's see. Not that one. Only because the dynamic range on that is so different. I want to come back to that one. Let's see. We'll do Put Your Gun Away a second. Wake up. All right. So this is one where we actually cut a double on this one. This is good, because then maybe I'll have some stuff to work with here. Yeah. All right. So I got 3 takes, and it looks like I've already done a little bit of my editing here. So you'll notice that we did a little bit of editing, just rough edits in session, just to give James a little bit of a respite in between having to sing so much. So there's some of this stuff that's here already. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and listen with fresh ears and listen to this performance, make sure that that everything that we picked as the final edits is the right pick, that there's not something that slipped through the cracks. And actually, let's save as local editing. I'm really just listening to make sure that that we made all the right picks. So kind of the process of this is listen without the auto-tune, listen to make sure that we made the right picks for the performances, and make sure that we've got a good double that matches or that's close, clean everything up, line everything up, and then double check it with the auto-tune to make sure it's all going to play well once I actually go in and do-tune it. So let's bypass the tuning. I am going to leave this channel strip I'm using up a little bit, though, just so we can kind of hear it. Makes the vocal a little more present.
I ain't got no smoke with you. I don't want no man to pay your dues, yeah. It really was nice to meet you, boy. Put your gun away, yeah, put your gun.
I'm just curious about that one little way. Do we have a better one than that? That was out of the very first take. Let's see. So I can know what take is what right here if I look at lead vocal 1.1.01.02.03. And so this came from the very first one. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to 2 for a second.
It really was nice to meet you, boy. Put your gun away.
Different delivery, though, right here.
Gun away, yeah, gun away.
So it's not quite as much energy.
Gun away.
Totally different. So the only option I have is either using 2.
Gun away, yeah.
Or I'm wondering, I may pull the double out of there.
Gone away.
Nope.
Gone away. Yeah.
It's the way, hey. So what I'm going to try and do.
Way.
Can't use that one.
Way. Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's push up 2. And you notice that the volume on it's a lot different. Delivery was different. So push the volume up, see if that helps.
Boy, put your gun away.
Yeah, I think that's going to be enough. At least at this point in the song, I'll go ahead and make that edit since I'm right here looking at it instead of waiting, and just clean all this stuff out. Yeah, just fixing the volume so that it matches the other take. All of a sudden, I think that's a better end.
Boy, put your gun away. Yeah, put your gun away.
Yeah, it matches.
She ain't worth the time. She ain't worth.
Oh, I hear something bad in that edit there.
She.
Yeah, we don't need that. We'll go get that. We'll clean that out later.
She ain't worth the time you.
Just curious. That's 2. What's in 3?
She ain't worth.
It's flat on the end.
She ain't, well, she ain't.
Yeah, one's actually, the pitch is better on that one. So we're going to push this one up. This is just one of those things that listening to it with a fresh ear, this one's probably going to sound better.
She ain't worth the time you serve, but you're gonna wait. Yeah, but you're gonna wait.
I'm kind of curious about the end of that.
But you're gonna wait.
Do we have a better one than that? That's 3.
But you're gonna wait.
Get the double out of there.
Gonna wait. Gonna wait.
Is that 1? I think 1 may be better. Just bring the volume up to match it. Listen to it.
Sir, but you're gonna wait.
Yeah, what the timing's better on it, but I'm curious about the crossfade.
Sir, but you're gonna wait.
So yeah, here the timing of it doesn't match that before. So here's what we got to do. Grab that and sort of superimpose it. Boom, right there. So at least the timing's going to work. Put a crossfade in there. Let's see.
I'm you, sir, but you're gonna wait.
I'm going to cheat that a little bit to bring that up.
You, sir, but you're gonna wait.
There we go.
Yeah, but
It's just better on the bend on the end. So, all right.
yeah, but you're gonna wait. I ain't got no beef with you. You got problems, boy, I fell into hell. It really was nice to meet you, boy, but you're gone away. But you're gone away. She ain't worth the time. She ain't worth the time you serve, but you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away.
So far, so good.
Let me put my drink down. Let me cork the jug. You done blown my healthy buzz, yeah. It really wasn't.
That's one of those. I'm going to level match that a little bit better there.
Let me put my drink down. Let me cork the jug. You done blown my healthy buzz, yeah. It really wasn't nice to meet you, boy, but you're gone away.
And I'll let compression
But you're
help me
gone
with that. I'm going to put it
away.
at the right volume to start with.
Give me 3 steps. Could you give me 3 steps? I'm gone, but you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away.
I'll skip over.
Yeah, boy, but you're gone away. Yeah, boy, but you're gone away.
Wonder if 3's better. Let's just listen.
Yeah, boy, but you're gone away.
No, delivery wasn't as much.
Yeah, boy, but you're gone away.
No, I just have to make sure that I get it good and tuned when I go in there, just to make sure that bend's a little bit more in tune. All right, so now let's do our little pan trick. Put the double to the right, the lead vocal to the left, and just make sure that everything locks pretty well. Bring this up so we can hear them both.
I ain't got no smoke with you. I don't want no man to pay your dues, yeah. It really was nice to meet you, boy.
So right there. Can we line that up a little bit better? Let's kick this back just a little bit.
It really was nice to meet.
Yeah, there we go. I did it.
Nice to meet. It really was nice to meet you, boy, but you're gone away. Yeah,
crossfade there.
Gone away. She ain't worth the time.
All right, I'll go ahead and shorten that up. You heard the one on the right hanging over a little bit.
But you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away.
So here's what I want to do something here. This was better on that delivery in the double than it was in the one we're keeping. But I'm going to just do a little switch out. I'm going to put this there. I'm going to put that. Oh, come on, hold my thing there. So we're just basically just, I'll bring this up a little bit, but I'm borrowing this other lead in. I think it's better.
Yeah, but you're gone away.
And go ahead and pull that back down. It's better in tunes, better delivery, all that stuff. So the double.
Yeah, but you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're gone away. She ain't worth the time. She ain't worth the time you serve, but you're gone away. Yeah, but you're gone away.
All right, let's see if we can clean this up a little bit real quick. Now we're going to go ahead and I definitely know we're going to shorten that taper up right there. So you can see where it's just a little bit off. So we just grab the double, slide it over, and this part needs to go a little further. So just separate that and slide over.
Yeah, but you go.
Yep, there we go. And I'll ramp that in a little bit later.
Yeah, but you're gone away.
There you go.
I ain't got no beef with you. You got problems, boy, I fell into hell. It really was nice to meet you, boy, but you're gone away. But you're gone away. She ain't worth the time. She ain't worth the time you serve, but you're gone away.
I just want to look at this one.
She ain't worth the.
One of those is a little, I mean, the tuning would take care of it, but if I can find a better one of those, I'd rather put a different one in there. So let's look back at our playlist a second. Let's see. What is, this one is what? That's 2. What is 1 doing?
She ain't worth the time.
Yeah, so 1 in this case is a better match for the double. The pitch on the double's right. It's just this this one. And we'll just slide it over a little bit so it's a little more in time.
She ain't worth the time.
Might have went a little too far.
She ain't worth the time you serve, but you're gone away.
There we go.
Yeah, but you're gone away.
Same thing there, the end of that line.
Yeah, but you're gone away.
I don't know if it's good.
But you're gone away. Now, she ain't worth the time you serve, but you're gone away.
Thanks, Fish. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, but you're gone away.
Yeah, that right there. We could probably line that up a little bit better. The rest of it's good. We're just gonna just snag the double and just move it over.
Yeah, but you're gone away.
Clean all these edits up after we get done.
Let me put my drink down. Let me cork the jug. You done blown my healthy buzz, yeah. It really was nice to meet you, boy, but you're gone away. But you're gone away. Give me 3 steps. Could you give me 3 steps? I'm gone, but you're gone away. Yeah, but
Left
you're
can
gone
hang
away.
over, not the right. And the last line.
Yeah, boy, but you're gone away.
Cool. Cool. Well, that tidies up all the parts. Now we just got to go in and clean all these edits up. So, yeah, let's make a quick edit group here. Just edit. So we can kind of go in and do a little bit of this stuff. And I'll just kind of do it, based on what I can kind of see in any one given bit here. We'll pop out of that group edit when we need to do some other stuff. So, yeah. So now we're just cleaning the heads and tails up on some stuff. Most of our crossfades are done. I may have one or two to look at. I'm going to come out of the edit group for a second and shorten up this. We talked about that earlier. And yeah, this one's kind of weird. So I'll stay out of my edit group for a second just to get this. I'm actually going to pull that. Undo. Let's pull that out a little bit. All right. And then since this one, I want to check that crossfade. I did that crossfade live, I think.
She ain't worth the time.
Yeah, I can live with that. That's one of those, I think we slid it around to match the waveforms. All right, put my edit group back on. Keep cleaning. We're just cleaning stuff up. Just make it nice and tidy. Now, if I were going to send this off to mix some for somebody else. Hey, James. Thanks for hanging out and listening, dude. I hope you like how it sounds. Oh, nope, don't do that. Let's get out of my edit group a second. So we just do a quick little crossfade. No, I think I've got one hiding in there. Yep. Just move it over. There we go. All right. Same thing here. Just shorten that fade, taper up. Put my edit group back on. Keep going. Yeah, what I was saying was if I was going to mix, if I was going to send this out to mix, all of these edits, I would consolidate this into new track files before I send it out to mix. I'm going to mix it, so I'm not going to worry about consolidating it. Used to, we would consolidate things into single files because when, you know, like I'm reading everything off of an SSD. And used to, when you were reading off of a spinning drive, you wouldn't want all these pieces, parts, fragments of things because you would have to skip all around the drive to be able to read all these different fragments of files. It was just a lot easier and more efficient for the drive if you were just reading from one particular sector of the drive, contiguous files, that sort of thing. Well, now with SSDs, there's really not a lot of seek time to get this stuff. So I don't, unless I'm going to send something out, I generally don't consolidate all these edits. Now, if somebody's really worried about format, like they're worried, are they going to be able to open this? Usually, I mean, Pro Tools, I may put my, hey, Tony Albertson, good Lord. I haven't heard from Tony Albertson in like forever. How are you, buddy? Wow. What Mac or MacBook I'm on? Believe it or not, I'm on a Trashcan 2013 Mac, but it's a 12 core with 128 gigs of RAM. The internal drive's been replaced for a 2 terabyte that I think is a faster bus speed than the original. And then all my source files, for the project are on an external SSD. So, yeah, it's a 12 core Mac, and I'm running a Pro Tools Ultimate with my audio interface is a Pro Tools Matrix Studio running HD native. That's what we're running, Fish. So yeah, Tony Albertson, man, we got to make some music together, dude. I hope you're not going to tell me you're not playing guitar anymore. I hope you're going to tell me you've been playing guitar the entire time that I haven't seen you. Tony Albertson is an old friend from a long, long while back. We made a few records together back in the day and played a few gigs. Including Davis Daniel. We opened for George Jones on a bunch of dates back in like the late 90s. It's been a long time ago. Riding across the United States in a conversion van, the lap of luxury, All right, so I've got all these little crossfades to do here. So yeah. So I mean, if I'm worried about whether or not something is going to be, Pro Tools is going to be around until Pro Tools and cockroaches will be around for about the same amount of time. I haven't done a video on YouTube yet about that whole buyout thing. There's a lot of people that have said, talking out their butts about a lot of stuff about this mergers and acquisition stuff and how it's the death knell for Pro Tools. And I'm the complete opposite. I think Pro Tools is going to be better because they got bought out. If you look at the history of that company, they actually have a history of buying music product companies and actually doing a better job with them after the fact. Even if they sell them off, they've sold some stuff off, but the stuff they sold off was better than when they found it. So, which is why they were able to sell it off at a profit. You just got to do a little bit more look-see. And I'm going to do a little more look-see before I open my big mouth on YouTube. But so if I'm worried about whether or not something is going to be accessible 20 years from now, then what I would do is I would highlight all of this. Like I would do the whole session. I'd consolidate this with all the edits. I'd label everything really nice so that I have, at least in a folder somewhere, I have all of the final tracks. The actual, here's the final kick drum track, the final lead vocal track, the final this, the final that. All that I'd consolidate all those guitar edits that we did. If I were worried, and I'm not worried, and if the client wanted to pay for me, because it takes a few extra hours to do that kind of thing. It's not a free service to do that kind of housekeeping. And if the client's really worried about 20 years from now, they're going to be able to still open their files, which I got Pro Tools sessions that are almost 20 years old at this point that I can still open. So that's one of the things that keeps me from being worried. Anyway, maybe plugins. Maybe plugins might be a problem later, but the actual files themselves. All right, let's go and clean these drums up. So that's all of our vocal editing. We'll save that. Now let's do a save as on our drum edits. I do a save as at every step of this process. I have some friends that don't like that. They like to just have one song file. Oh, that's right. Just mix it and help. Oh, good. I'm glad you're at least involved and still doing music, Tony. We got to get on a phone call or something soon and just catch up, dude. I miss you, man. All right, so we're gonna clean up some drums here. Let's listen. So Dan's doing a little hi-hat stuff here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, since I'm in my drum edit group, we're going to mute all that stuff before, put a nice little fade taper. It's going to fade taper everything. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out of this edit group a second because I don't want all these open mics right here. So starting at the kick drum, moving through all the actual drums, just going to do a quick little highlight. Control E, mute. We're going to mute all those. And then I'll run over here right before the kick drum comes in, right before we actually have some drum noise, and we'll just kind of put in some quick little crossfades. That way the whole drum kit comes in right around the downbeat. So now, and again, I'm going to leave the hi-hat up for now because I may actually use the hi-hat mix. But now I don't have all those other open mics just giving us ambient sound. It'll be more apparent when we start mixing and put compression. All right. Cool. All right. So now let's clean up this. Let's clean up these toms. So we're gonna grab these toms, open that up, and we're just gonna scan through and see. Like that's a crash cymbal that's in here. It's not a tom hit. Same here. And you can tell by the decay, too, what it is. So it doesn't look like... We got some tom hits right there. This is all cymbals.
Wait, what you gonna wait?
Same here. So I'm going to grab these right here. Just kind of block and separate it. Now, zoom back out, and then we're just going to take everything up to that point that's overheads, and we'll mute those. Let's keep zooming through. See if we can find all of our tom hits. Well, Tony, you would laugh because the last 8 weeks, I've made it a point, just at least 6 out of every 7 days a week. I'm looking over at the screen because your name's over there. The screen where I could see it is over there, but you're right there. At least 6 out of every 7 days a week for the last 8 weeks, I've been practicing guitar. Not to be a great guitar player, but just so that I've got guitars sitting back there that, one, I could probably be a little bit more intelligent with how I talk with guitar players in sessions. That's part of it. But I'm actually doing more writing. So it's a lot easier if I don't to work on at least the start of ideas if I'm not having to wait on someone else to play some chords for me to write to. So there's toms right there. A couple times right there.
Yeah, boy, put your gun.
Little tom hit right there. All right, so then we just get rid of, let's mute all this. Mute, 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 mute. So yeah, if anybody's looking to learn guitar, this is not a paid endorsement at all, but I can tell you it's been the most effective thing I've done. I've tried to learn to play guitar probably a dozen times in my life, and after a month, I just give up. I'm like, this is just too complicated. Piano is different because let's see where this. All right.
Well, the time you.
All right, so we want to come out by here. See, we want to come out before that crash cymbal hits. So I'm gonna back that up. Boom, right there, quick one. Put a little bit longer tail on this one. On a piano, there's one dang middle C. That's it. On a guitar, middle C's in a bunch of different places. And depending on the chord you're playing and the chord that comes before it and the chord that comes after it, you might want a different dang middle C, or whatever. So anyway, I bought Rick Beato's beginner guitar course, and it's had me practicing. And 30 minutes. I give myself 30 minutes a day.
Well, the time you serve.
Now,
The time you.
I'm trying to get out before that crash cymbal. I'm not too worried about the decay on that drum because I know I've got it in overheads too. But also, for the kind of tight drum sound I'm going for, it's okay. You won't hear. We'll put it back in the mix. You won't hear it when it cuts off. Anyway, the reason I do this is if you're joining us late, the reason I do it this way is drum plug-in gates, and I've got all of them. I like the drummers. The thing about the drummer gates is they actually have a sound. There's a sound if you use a drummer gate. It's a very 80s kind of sound, but there's a way that it gates that just it immediately makes me think of like a Jeff Porcaro record, It's got that sound to it. But for the most part, gates and expanders, no matter how hard you work to get them dialed in, are not very exact. I usually know exactly where I want my drums. If I'm compressing them really heavy, putting them loud in the mix, I know exactly where I want them to come in and come out. So this method, I've been doing this method for 20-something years. This method, nope, not that. Wrong way, buddy. This method is the most exact way that I know of to get just the sound of the toms and the tom mics. And it's worth the extra, 5 minutes that it takes to do it. So anyway, so that should clean up the sound overall. We'll listen to everything, make sure it's nice and clean, and then I can move on to the next one. Oh, one thing I want to double check, because we did this in the session. I want to check this one spot where we did an edit in the part.
I don't want no man to pay
I'm cool
your
with that.
dues. Really was nice to meet you, boy. Put your gun away. Put your gun away.
Cool. I just want to make sure I can't hear that we just pulled a couple of measures from another take right there. So let's just back it up. Now I'm curious. there's a little bit of a flub right there. I want to see if I can take this and splice it into that other spot. So I'm just hold Alt. We're going to move this over. So I just got to clean that up, clean that edit up. So yeah, so it wasn't that it sucked. It's just that there wasn't for some reason it kind of fretted out a little bit, not as much sustain. So we're just going to see if we can lace that in. Let's heal that separation right there. There's a keyboard shortcut for it, and you'd think that I could remember freaking Apple H. Yeah, just that one little flub right there. All of a sudden. The other thing I'm going to do is we're going to raise. Again, just make the performance better. Raise that a little bit. Raise that a little bit. And then just put a crossfade in there. Yeah, so just make sure that first note is as strong as all the rest of them. A little crossfade there. Now we just got a little bit better version of that performance. And let's fix this too. Timing on it's good, so we can just crossfade it.
I ain't got no smoke with you. I don't want no man to pay your dues, yeah.
Put the tune in it.
Really was nice to meet you, boy. Put your gun away, yeah, put your gun away. She ain't worth the time. She ain't worth the time you serve. Put your gun away. Yeah, put your gun away. I ain't got no beef with you. You got problems, boy, I fell into, yeah. It really was nice to meet you, boy. Put your gun away. Put your gun away. She ain't worth the time. She ain't worth the time you serve. Put your gun away.
It's gonna tune up real nice.
Yeah, put your gun away. Let me put my drink down. Let me cork the jug. You done blown my healthy buzz, yeah. It really was nice to meet you, boy. Put your gun away. Put your gun away. Give me 3 steps. Could you give me 3 steps? I'm gone. Put your gun away. Yeah, put your gun away. Yeah, boy, put your gun away.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, vocals sitting nice. It's gonna tune up well once I actually get it out of auto tune and actually manually tune it. And drums are looking good. We got all that stuff cleaned up real nice. And yeah, got the band playing together. Bass is in tune. I don't have any weird clicks or pops. Yeah. So that one, I put that one to bed. And so yeah, so there you go. There's 2 tunes that give you some kind of idea. Now, this is just a real basic thing. This is just a snapshot in time of these guys, a local band. And I thank James. I thank Dan for hanging out with us from the band, Burn 98, and Kelly, super fan. If you get a chance, you see Burn 98 playing anywhere, make sure you go see Burn 98. It's a bunch of good guys, man. This is kind of a snapshot in time. It's what do these three guys sound like together when they're playing? And we're probably going to get Barry Richmond on a few tunes to play some electric guitar, which will be cool. It'll be kind of like the band plus. And at this point, this one's ready to go. I'll just hit save and pack this away. I'll move on. I think I got one more to do tonight before I have to turn in for the evening. I appreciate you. If you've been here for any amount of the last hour and 15 minutes, I really appreciate you. I thank you for, let's get out of the screen where you're looking at my Pro Tools rig. Hang on. There we go. So if you've been sitting here for any amount of time for the last hour and 15 minutes, I appreciate you. It was good to see Tony Albertson chime in and Fish Jackson coming in for a second and saying hey and checking things out. Like I said, the guys from Burn 98 and Kelly. It's good to see her this weekend here at the studio while James was cutting some vocals. And anyway, that's sort of the process. That's how we clean up some vocals, get things lined up so they sound great, clean up all the little stuff in between so there's no weird sounds. Especially the thing about a recording like this where it's so bare bones. We've got guitar, bass, and drums. And if there's a grunt or a wheeze or a big breath or you knock something over in the booth and it's in the vocal mic, you're going to hear it. Any kind of extraneous noise, you're going to hear it because it's just basically three instruments at this point and a vocal. So a lot of this cleanup is just to make sure that we don't hear anything we shouldn't. And in the case of some of that stuff like breaths and things, you don't need to hear somebody take a big breath before they sing a line. There's no reason for that. And a little cleanup stuff like touching up that acoustic guitar lick at the front end. And the only thing I'm going to double check, I'll probably do it before we mix, is I did a little bit of tuning on the bass part to tighten up just the center of the pitch. And every once in a while, I get a little click out of that. I haven't heard any in this. The last one I heard, and I declicked it. But in this one, I didn't hear anything. So, but I'll check it before we mix. And so, so that's two tunes from these guys' upcoming first release ever. And it'll be a great snapshot in time of what these guys sound like right this moment. And, and when they go to make another record, you'll get to hear the progress from this first release to whatever they do that's the next one through. So it's been a joy working with these guys in the studio. And not just here, but even in pre-production. These guys worked so hard for months, really tightening up their parts, really tightening up what they were trying to do with the songs. And it really shows in the work that they've put in, there's the studio magic that I'm doing here is just to get a better recording. It's one of those things where the studio is such a microscope that any little discrepancy can be a problem. And so we just do a little bit of surgery on that stuff to make sure there's not any discrepancies. And that's it. That's all I got for you. It's been a long day, man. I've been at it for 12, 13, 14 hours at this point. So anyway, not just on this, but 14 hours working. But that's everything. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below. Thanks for everybody that left some comments and questions and all that kind of stuff. I'll go back because the algorithm loves it. I'll go back and I'll say some stuff in the comments and reply in the comments to some of these things as well. And I'm going to be doing more of this live stream and stuff. I really like this idea of just kind of showing your work. Like, what is it that I sit here and do for hours and hours and hours a day on different kinds of projects? I mentor and teach so many young engineers that get into this for a whole variety of reasons. And the ones that last are the ones that aren't doing this because they're either trying to get rich or get famous. They're doing this because they love this kind of stuff. I've got students and interns that will sit and watch me or someone else do this kind of stuff for hours in just rapt fascination. Those are the people that make it in this business. Those are the people that can make a career out of this. If you love sitting here looking at the screen and listening to the same song 500 times in a row and really listening for all these nuances and these little things that you can do to improve stuff, if that's something that gets you up in the morning, you got a good chance at making some kind of career out of this, if that's what you want to do. Or, certainly if you don't plan on making a career out of it, it's something you should consider spending a lot of your time doing, because it's a heck of a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun the last, hour and 20 minutes. So regardless if you were watching or not, I'd be having fun sitting right here doing this. So that's all I got for you. As always, make sure that you're awesome to everybody that you meet. You never know. Like, I had a pretty crappy day today in some respects. You never know when somebody's having a bad day or has had a bad day or what's going on in their life. So make sure you're awesome to everybody that you meet, everybody you come across. Be extra awesome to yourself. We're too hard on ourselves sometimes, most of the time. Be extra awesome to yourself. And until next time, I will see you when I see you. Thanks so much.